Have you got a ticket generated by a camera, a red light ticket, or a speeding ticket? If so, this may be extremely helpful for you here today. What might be even more helpful is learning how to prevent these things from happening in the first place. Prevention is 1,000 times better than having to fight back. That said, if you are in a position where you just got a ticket, you're mad about it, you don't want to pay the hundreds of dollars that can come up in fines because a camera took a picture of you, this might be really helpful to get out of it and good motivation to prevent this from happening again. I'm Jerry Banfield, and first let me say that I practice safe driving. I drive the speed limit, I stop at stop signs, I stop at red lights. Prevention is the key. I am a former police officer who saw the wreckage caused and by car accidents and people disobeying traffic laws firsthand. And I also issued citations for drivers violating the traffic laws. I can say that driving safely is always ideal. And this is something I struggled with myself. I was pulled over at least 10 times for speeding until none of the traffic ticket that I got or the warnings made a difference until I finally realized how foolish it was for me to speed all the time and always be in a hurry. Why risk getting pulled over? Why risk getting a traffic ticket or red light ticket in the first place? The last time I got stopped, I just got a warning for running a stop sign. I finally saw this is stupid. I didn't need to do this today. No one cares if I get to my AA meeting 5 minutes late. If I want to get there on time, I leave early. And if I don't leave early enough, I don't risk getting pulled over. I don't risk causing an accident. You can hurt yourself in an accident and you can lose years, if not your entire life, trying to hurry and get somewhere. So first, please drive safe and give up the hurry mentality. Really, honestly, no one cares more than you, whether you get somewhere on time. And if you get somewhere 5 minutes late and it's a big deal, you probably don't want to go there in the first place. That's probably not the kind of place you want to spend your time. Now, if you've already got a red light ticket, if you've already got a speeding ticket, there's a way that you can get out of it consistently, and that's by pleading not guilty or using whatever resources that are given to you to fight back. This can be very tricky sometimes, and in other instances, you can merely just plead not guilty and get out of it. I got a $100 parking ticket in Washington, D.C. when I was visiting there. I simply pled not guilty, wrote whatever defense I could think of, and I got out of the ticket. Therefore, just knowing you can fight back, that you don't have to just sit there and pay the ticket, is the most important thing. Now, once you undertake this and you say, yes, I'd like to fight back, or if you're thinking, I don't have the courage to fight back, I don't even know where to start, what kind of defense do I put up, this is where you need help. And I'm grateful today for a sponsorship from PhotoBlocker.com, who specializes in providing help with red light camera tickets and with speeding camera tickets. There's a free ebook. And for prevention, PhotoBlocker.com also offers a spray that you can spray on your license plate that can stop the camera from even getting your license plate to start with and even generating the ticket. If you've got a ticket, this ebook is loaded with an unbelievable amount of help. It has case study after case study of exactly how people have fought their tickets and got out of it. Here's one case study from the ebook you might like in particular. Donna got a ticket for $361 plus a transaction fee right at the holidays. She went over to have an appointment to contest the ticket, and she had to wait for an hour. Then she simply asked a bunch of questions, and she was able to get the entire ticket dropped and dismissed. That took maybe a couple hours of her time, saved her $361. If you calculate, she effectively earned $180 or so an hour, assuming it took about 2 hours total. She earned, even if it took 3 hours, over $100 an hour essentially to go there and fight the traffic ticket. The officer had basically a video with a blurry picture of her, and the car in front of her that had triggered the camera had She asked, did this car get a ticket that hit for triggering the camera? The officer said probably. She was able to get out of the ticket. Now, what she cited is that she had the courage to do this and felt empowered to do this based on knowing it was possible via this information, this ebook from PhotoBlocker. The ebook I'm about to show you gave her the courage to say, yes, I can do this. I can fight this ticket. I can get out of this. And it's not about just getting away with something. It's about collectively standing up to automated enforcement systems. Automated enforcement systems generate huge amounts of money. That's the guaranteed thing they do. They do not necessarily prevent or even reduce traffic accidents because some drivers erratically compensate for these automatic enforcement systems. For example, red light cameras, when drivers know they might get a ticket on a red light, often slam on brakes and cause rear end accidents. Whereas if there was no red light camera on there, they simply might have went through the light and that accident wouldn't have happened. In speed camera areas, drivers can erratically slow down, seeing that there's a speed camera coming up, and cause accidents that way, and drive erratically as soon as the overcompensate once the speed camera zone is done and start driving extra crazy after having to restrain themselves for a few minutes due to the speed camera. These cameras also don't take any circumstances into account, anything that might be valid for running a red light, or you just didn't pay attention for a minute. It's important that we collectively stand up to these automated enforcement systems unless we want to see more and more of them. Given how profitable they are, the simple thing we can do is collectively stand up to these systems, and that discourages more of them from being put in. It takes money and resources to defend these systems, and the more of us that actually plead guilty, it takes away our ability to fight back. It funds further creation of these systems. And that's where we need help with something like this, because there's resources that make it pretty easy. You're not an attorney probably, and okay, well, how am I going to fight back against a police department who sees these cases all the time? How am I going to go in front of a judge and not look ridiculous? This ebook will give you the courage just to try if you don't think you have it, and it's loaded with strategy. So let's take a look inside the ebook right here. This is a massive ebook on how to fight back red light and speed camera tickets. I'm looking at the page where you can get it. I've got a link in the description to photoblocker.com. I've shortened it with jerry.tips. If you'd like to get this ebook, will you please use that link, or you can just Google PhotoBlocker and go straight there to the store for the ebook. There's also other products in the store you can get that will allow you to avoid potentially getting a ticket in the first place. There's a spray you can put on your license plate. You can also, there can be shield covers that you can get. Now, pay attention to your local laws on these. In Florida, where I live, these are illegal. The spray is illegal for me in Florida. The photo shield cover is illegal for me in Florida also. However, there are many states where these covers and sprays are not illegal, and that seems like a good opportunity to just prevent getting the ticket to start with. However, make sure you Google your state laws beforehand and make sure this is legal in your state, because it would be silly if I, for example, bought a photo shield cover, then I got pulled over and got a traffic ticket for having that cover on my license plate. That said, those laws are not enforced that often according to what I've read. However, it can be a reason for a traffic stop. So check that these are allowed in your state before buying one. And if they are allowed in your state or they are allowed in your country, it seems common sense to me, why not block these automated enforcement systems from working on you? What you can also find in the store on photoblocker.com is a link to download the ebook. It's real easy. You just hit add to cart, put your name and email in, the ebook comes immediately. This is the link you get, the ebook download. You get It's got resources. There's a phone number you can call for help. There's also an application you can use, phantomalert.com, to know where speed traps are, to know where red light cameras are. If you noticed in Donna's story here, she was driving through this red light camera intersection on her way to work every day. She did not realize cameras had been installed, newly installed, in an intersection she routinely drove across. If you use the Phantom Alert application at phantomalert.com, you can have the ability to use that in your GPS navigation to see what's coming ahead of time. You can know exactly where red light cameras are, speed cameras are, and I highly recommend these if you're traveling. What I've read in some of the stories in the ebook is people are traveling and come back home to find hundreds of dollars of tickets in states they drove through where they didn't realize there was a speed camera or a red light camera. And some of these red light cameras even are right on red light cameras, which are ridiculous. I personally plan on standing up for any. I have not got a red light or speeding ticket camera yet. And I intend to stand up for any ones that I get, because the more of us stand up for these, the more it helps out all of us to not get continually enforced. So here's the inside of the ebook. It shows you how to fight red light and speed camera tickets. There's a ton of helpful resources. There's case studies in here. There's case after case. Reading the cases may help you prepare a specific defense. In other things, you can easily just, for example, you can request an engineering survey. These cameras need to be validated by an engineering survey of the road. That means an engineering team comes out and assesses the speed that is appropriate for the roadway. If the speed limit is different from the speed that is appropriate for the roadway, you can, in that sense, in that instance, the engineering team is then suggested to request the speed limit to be matched to whatever is appropriate for that area. In some cases, road conditions have changed. The road's been expanded, or the traffic has changed, and the speed that was appropriate whenever the speed limit was put on, or it can be different from whatever it should be with a new engineering survey. And that's a simple thing you can bring up, is then, when was the last time there was an engineering survey on this particular road? That can get you out of a speeding ticket. When you have that engineering survey defense in, you can also benefit everyone else. The speed limit could potentially get raised 5 or 10 miles an hour on a road. How cool would that be to know that you had a part getting the speed limit raised? That is awesome. The key thing is to know fighting back and winning is possible. Once you imagine it's possible, you have a very high likelihood of success. And even if you fail, it might encourage prevention. You know what? Maybe I don't need to drive 10 or 15 miles an hour over the speed limit everywhere I go. And even a failure in that sense is a really valuable outcome. You can see on these other cases, there's lots of different ways to win. Another thing I've learned in this ebook is that most places require that cameras be calibrated consistently. Cameras are just electronic equipment that can go in and out of calibration based on weather conditions, based on lighting, road conditions, based on the equipment. These cameras in some places must be tested and that they are working correctly every single day. And many places from the police departments I worked in, often things that are supposed to be done every day get done less frequently, just because there's calls, there's lots of things to do. Officers forget about it. Whoever's assigned to it just checks off that they did it, but they didn't really do it. You can request and say, hey, when's the last time this camera was calibrated? You can get out of a ticket if the camera was not calibrated at whatever it's supposed to be. Often just fighting this, just pleading not guilty though, just that, requesting a hearing will be enough in some places just to get you out of it. As it was with my $100 parking ticket, I merely pled not guilty, wrote whatever reason down I wrote, and I got out of it. Just pleading not guilty can get you out of it. You can also get out of a traffic citation generated by camera by defect in the photo strategy. In a photo, it must be clear. If your state is not clearly visible in the photo, if each number in the photo is not clearly visible, that can be a reason for the ticket to be dismissed. This could happen. A raindrop could be right in the middle of the camera. It could be slightly obscured. A car could be a bird could fly across it. If it's not clear enough to provide beyond a reasonable doubt that that is your license plate, then you're able to get out of the ticket that way. Some places may require that there be a photo of the driver. If you are each of these things may vary by jurisdiction. You can Google more specifically in your jurisdiction how to get out of it. Once you know that it's possible, and there's a lot of ways to get out of a ticket, you're empowered to do your own research and say, maybe I'll Google this, maybe I'll ask around. The defect in photo can be a great way to get out of it. If there's anything not right with the photo, you can get out of it that way. There's also another legal strategy you can use that I discovered in this ebook. You can use a license plate that makes it difficult to tell exactly which number and letter it is. And this is perfectly legal. You can use a license plate, for example, that's filled with zeros and O's. Because a 0 and an O look very much the same, this is very easy for whoever is the human operator on these tickets to make an error and not realize that instead of it saying 00001, the operator, whoever the person is that's filling out these tickets, puts 1 O or 1 0 wrong anywhere. You can get out of it that way. And there's no reason that you can't do that. And it might even be funny to have a license plate like that to get out of a ticket. And therefore, if you go with these tickets, you can go from presumed innocent to I can't win. If you've made it into that, you can go back out of that. These automated tickets, it looks like, are very easy to beat if you just stand up, but almost no one actually seems to stand up to these tickets. What I noticed as a police officer in a criminal justice system is that the law is primarily enforced on people who don't put up a defense, people who aren't willing to fight back. And in fact, many times police officers will avoid getting into situations where it's very likely that the person is going to fight back legally based on something like knowing, whoever you are. Status bias is the biggest thing I've seen as a police officer, that if you're the sheriff's cousin, well, we're not going to arrest you tonight because we realize you're probably going to be able to put up a really good defense to the arrest, potentially making the department look bad. And that's what we have the opportunity to do collectively with all these automated enforcement systems, is to collectively stand up and say, no, thank you. We're not interested in receiving impersonal tickets in the mail for running a red light or for violating a speed limit that are primarily used as a revenue generation. We don't have to get mad about it. We can just say, no, thank you. So you can say, as a general rule, always deny or plead not guilty. There's no reason to admit to an offense generated by an automated enforcement system like a camera. There's no reason you need to plead guilty to a camera. It's just a camera. You can see the images can be blurry sometimes. If there's a photograph or a video, this is the only evidence against you. There was no human being there that actually saw the context this was going on in. And it's completely up to you, therefore, to fight back. You always need to look at the photograph on this to make sure if there's anything that's not perfect in the photograph, that's grounds for fighting back on this. And if you get too upset about this, I like the tip in the ebook. It says, have fun, they can't put you in jail. This is all about money. Now, I imagine it's possible if you don't pay the ticket and you don't fight back, it could spiral into something where you can end up going to jail. So always stand up for it. The worst thing you can do is just throw a ticket in the mail and pretend that is to take a ticket you've got in the mail and throw it away and pretend like it's going to go away. That is the worst thing you can do. Always take that time to fight back, to plead not guilty. The proof often needs to be clear and convincing. And in order to do that, you should get some kind of a hearing in almost every jurisdiction, whether it's with the police department or whether it's in front of a judge. And if it is just at a police department, you should have the ability to take it to a judge if the police department does not resolve it in your favor. The government agency that's doing this is making money off of these cameras and therefore is not motivated to make it easy to fight back. It may be inconvenient to schedule. It might not be clear how to schedule. Use whatever they give you. If there's a phone number, use it. If there's a website and camera footage, use that. Use whatever you've got, and you can demand discovery. Demand that everything was working properly. These cameras have pretty strict standards in some places. The yellow light has to be calibrated just right. If the yellow light's too short, it's not reasonable to have a red light camera that's sitting there taking pictures between whenever the red light just came on and then maybe a third of a second from whenever it turned. Know all of the things related to it. You might consider that, all right, Jerry, this is a lot of time and effort, isn't it? Just to get out of a red light ticket. If Donna had not fought back, she essentially would have cost herself for just a few hours of time. She was able to get out of hundreds of dollars of a ticket. Now, that's just the same as earning money. That's the same as going to work and making $100 an hour. These tickets can be a lot, and fighting back can be relatively easy, relatively short on time. You don't have to spend a ton of time to make an elaborate defense. Just trying to make any kind of defense is the biggest difference in the world. I've went on for this for about 20 minutes now. So this ebook is filled with tons more resources, tons more specific tips, tons more cases over and over of people who've gotten out of these tickets using different kind of defenses. I've shown you the first half of the ebook. We've only gotten through half of the ebook right now. There's a ton of valuable resources in here, and I imagine when you're ready to get out of your ticket, you will be motivated to go to PhotoBlocker.com to grab that free ebook and be prepared. And this could make a great gift for someone. If you know a friend who's complaining about red light cameras, say, look, go here, grab this ebook. This can be a really thoughtful gift that doesn't cost anything. I love to look out for things like this when my friends and family have something that they're struggling with or annoyed with. Say, hey, I got this free ebook right here. This can give you a peace of mind that if you do get a ticket, you've got a chance to fight back. You don't have to go around in fear of the cameras anymore. Thank you very much for watching this. I'm very grateful to PhotoBlocker.com for the sponsorship here with paid branded video and turning this into a podcast and a vlog or a blog also. I'm grateful for the chance to show you this and grateful for PhotoBlocker's help in paying me to produce this for you, to give you this, what I hope is a valuable educational resource for you and a line of products that you can get if you'd like to prevent the physical aspect of the enforcement happening, although definitely check your laws wherever you're at first. There's even an affiliate program if you buy these products yourself and get really excited about them. If you're on photoblocker.com, there's an affiliate program. You can become a dealer. You can sell these products. These products have sold millions of dollars already. Tons of people using them. So many people using these products that some states, since these have came on the market, have passed laws against using these products. So that's how successful they've been. So if your state does not have these, you might be able to become a dealer in your state. If your state does not have laws against it, you might be able to sell lots of these as an affiliate or as a dealer. So thank you very much for watching this. I love you. You're awesome. I appreciate the chance to share photoblocker.com with you and the information in the PDF it contains to help you get out of red light tickets, get out of speeding camera tickets, and best of all, prevent it from happening to you in the first place.